Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'm really happy to be today here with you at Forex Expo. Today, we will talk about a very important topic. We will talk about the US election and how it can affect the financial markets. As you know, the US election can make the market very uncertain and also challenging, but at the same time, it can make a lot of opportunities that we can make some profits from it if we make it right or deal with it in the right way. Firstly, we will focus on how the election could impact the US dollar, the US stocks, and also the gold. We will also talk about what might happen in the election and right after the election and the months following the election. Firstly, let's start by something interesting. The US political party can affect the movement of the dollar. Okay, when the US president comes from the Republican Party, there was a negative movement on the US dollar. But when the president comes from the Democratic Party, the US dollar tends to move higher all the time. As we see in Clinton from the Democratic, the dollar was going up down in a good way. Also in Bush from Republican, there was move down for the dollar, and so on until Trump. There was a very bad performance for the dollar, and with Biden, there was a good effect for the dollar. If we talk about this trend right now, this will affect the dollar in a very effective way because, as you know, the U.S. Federal Reserve has starting the easing program and cut the rate in the last time. So if we have Trump as a president, it will be a nightmare for the dollar. Because Trump in the last months has wanting from the federal to aggressively easing program and cut the rate sharply for the market, and this will affect the dollar and make it go down in the next months. So if Trump wins in the US election, I think that the dollar will go down in a bad way. Okay, but if Harris from the Democrat win the election, I think that the dollar this time will not go down with the same as Trump. Harris will make the same policy as Biden. Biden will interact with the markets a lot in his last part. So while Trump and his influence was very bad on the US dollar, it's a different story to when we talk about the US stocks. Trump is one of the most supporters of the US companies. He supports the US companies and imposes the tariffs on the other countries, so the consumer will focus on this time with the American companies, and the American companies will make more profit. So in this case, I think that the stock market or the US stock market will move higher if there is a Trump as a president. But if Harris win, the impact might be less. Historically, the dollar has been stronger with the Democratic, but the stock market has been weaker with the Democratic. And we can see that when Trump was a president, the performance of the US stock market was better than the performance when Obama was a president, or also when Biden was a president, the performance was less than what Trump do. Okay, but while Trump has a good impact in the US market, but also he had a negative impact. Trump is known that he interacts with the market by his speeches and statements and tweets, and sometimes these tweets can affect the market more than the Federal Reserve meeting, and this happened a lot on the first term of Trump as a president. Okay. And that is what I talk about you. When Obama, the S&P has 43. With Biden, the S&P have about 42 or 41. But with Trump, the S&P make more than 600. So for the US stock market, Donald Trump will be the better. For the US dollar, Harris will be the better. But if we talk about the dollar in general, I don't think that the dollar if Harris win or Trump win, we will not see a positive impact for the US dollar, because in these times we have the easing program, and also we expected that the Federal will cut the rate by 100 point in 2025 and by 50 point in 2026. So at all, the dollar has a negative performance, but the negative performance will be more if Biden win. Okay. Okay, let's talk about something. We say that the dollar will be weak if Harris win or if Trump win, but it depends. Let's go because of we have the job labor who affected the market these days. The job labor has a bad effect or a bad performance in the few months, in the last months. We saw the employment rate going to 4.3. Although the Fed was expected that it will go for 4.1, we saw that it come back to 4.1. But all depends on the next time for the US dollar and also the stock market on the labor market. If we see the labor market improved in the next months until the end of 2024, I think we will see the dollar balance it, and we will see also the stock market in a good high. Okay, and let's talk about the gold. Gold prices tend to go. Gold prices has a lot of circumstances that make it go up in the last weeks and months. We saw the gold in 200,000 and 2,600. This time, all the geopolitical events has make the gold make higher. Also, we have the easing program make the gold move higher. We also have the demand from the central banks make the gold go higher. So all the things now make the gold go higher. Also, we will have the US election. The US election will make the market uncertain. So we will also expect that the gold will still go higher in the next time and its target will be 3,000 if there's if there's uncertainty in the market and if the geopolitical events has still in the next time. So the conclusion from all of it that we depend on, that we expect that the US dollar will have a negative effect in the next months of the US election, but if Trump win, it will have a more negative effects. But the US market, the US stocks will depend on the job labor. If Trump wins the election, I think that the US stock performance will be very good. If Harris win, I think it will depend about the labor market. If the labor market improves, the stock market will be improved and make new highs at the next time. But if we saw bad numbers about the labor markets, I think with Harris or Trump, we will saw a lot of we will saw it go down in a bad way. Okay. Before finishing, I also want you to try the experience of the tools that Evest company introduces for its traders. Besides that, Evest introduced a good experience for all the traders. At this time, it can. Okay, let's. But this time also, it provides the traders with some tools like Tip Ranks, Evest Academy, Evest Analytics, and also Trading Central. Let's talk about them. Evest Academy consists of some courses that Evest introduced to all the traders from the beginner to the professional ones, and you can find that at evest.com. And Evest Analytics is a tool that introduced analytics to the traders from more than 100 analysts. And also we have the Tip Rank. We have Trading Central that uses the AI to introduce the news that happens in the market, and also he can conclude the analysis and the technical analysis and the fundamental analysis from the analysis. And finally, we have the copy trade that can make the traders copy the best traders in the world very easily. Thank you.